Every year in America, on the last Monday in May, we take a day to remember and honor the soldiers that paid the ultimate sacrifice in war. In the spirit of Memorial Day, let's take some time today to look back at the coasters we've said goodbye to in this past year. Parks have closed, service lives have expired, and some were just more trouble than they were worth. Let's skip the jazzy intro and dive right into this one, but I would like to thank Rideout J for giving me this video idea. We'll start with the worst coasters and move up to the best. Honestly, it's sad this is going to be a full video, but there were so many coasters that closed in the last 12 months, so here we are. Number 15, Time Warp at Canada's Wonderland, operated 21 seasons. A relic from the Paramount days, they really packed a lot of junk into some of their parks, including this Semperla Volare. This coaster is better off at a carnival or a boardwalk, not a major park like this. I got to ride this once in 2018 and it banged my head around so bad, I put this as one of the worst coasters I've ever ridden. And even though Canada's Wonderland doesn't like to remove coasters, they pulled the plug officially after the 2024 season. Number 14 and number 13, Kid Flash Cosmic Coaster at Six Flags Over Georgia in Fiesta, Texas, operated less than one season. At IAAPA in 2022, Skyline was selling these Biscotti Bowl coasters and Six Flags was eager to jump on it. None of these had ever been built, but instead of buying one and seeing how it went, they went for it and bought two. Kinda reminds me of how Six Flags bought 3 Deja Vu prototypes in 2001, and how that was kind of a disaster. But this puts that to shame. They probably figured, it's a kid's coaster, what could possibly go wrong? But these were maintenance nightmares. They operated for less than a year. The one at Fiesta, Texas derailed and valleyed. They look great, but they didn't run great, and they both shut down in the summer of 2024. Number 12, Anaconda at King's Dominion, operated 34 seasons. As forgotten as Anaconda had become in recent years, it was a big deal when it opened in 1991, right at the height of the big aero looping coaster, this having a 144-foot drop into an underwater tunnel. 4 inversions in total, having a really great setting over a lake, but I wonder what they were thinking with that layout. The drop, loop, and sidewinder are very intense, but then it hits the mid-course brake super early, meanders around in circles for some reason, and then ends with a double corkscrew. So even when this was smooth, its layout was never great, and it doesn't help that over the years it kept getting rougher and rougher, so it was no wonder King's Dominion finally said that was enough. Number 11, Arkansas Twister at Magic Springs, operated 42 seasons. This out-and-back wooden coaster started at Florida's Boardwalk and Baseball and was there for 13 years. But when the park shut down, it was moved halfway across the country and landed in Arkansas, selling for only $10,000, but the relocation process in total cost close to $1 million. And it had a long second life starting in 1992, closed when the park went into foreclosure in 1995, reopened in 2000, and in March the park confirmed the ride would permanently close and remain standing but not operating. So maybe one day it'll reopen, or be RMC'd, you never know. Number 10, Bobster at Shirakawa Resort Familyland, operated 43 seasons. This was the last of the Togo Bobster model, 5 being built, riders sitting in sleds and going into swooping turns, winding over and under itself. Not very tall, fast, or long, but very portable, and if the similar looking shore scots are any indication, this was probably a very fun, intense ride. Number 9, Superman Escape from Krypton at Six Flags Magic Mountain, operated 28 seasons. The Intamin reverse freefall coaster. This existed for the sole purpose of hitting 100 miles an hour, burning off all that speed up a 415-foot tower, giving riders a few seconds of weightlessness at the peak, and then heading down the tower backwards. The launch was never that powerful, taking a full 7 seconds to get up to speed, and this always had gimmick written all over it. It was also a technical mess when it opened, being delayed a whole year, the train not being able to get up to full speed for months after testing began. In 2011, this got a paint job and the cars were turned backwards, and that's how it operated for the rest of its time at the park. Although, during those last couple years, they had one side going forward and one going backward. Between having issues maintaining it, the ride being hard to find at the top of the mountain, and the gimmick of going 100 miles an hour wearing thin, it made sense for the park to pull the plug. Number 8, Scorpion at Busch Gardens Tampa, operated 45 seasons. A Schwarzkopf Silver Arrow Looper, this portable coaster was one of Busch Gardens' first when it opened in 1980. It was this and Python that carried the park into the early 90s. This was still a smooth, intense ride all the way to the end, but as time went on and Busch Gardens got a bunch of state-of-the-art coasters, Scorpion stood out as kind of being out of place. The park put an end to its 45-year run at the end of 2024, and some people thought it might have some more life left at another park, but it was torn apart and will be heading to the scrapyard. Number 7, Nighthawk at Carowinds, operated 25 seasons. The original major flying coaster. This spent its first 4 years at Paramount's Great America as Stealth, but with its maintenance issues and slow dispatches, Paramount thought it would be better at Carowinds. At the time, drawing fewer people where slow lines would be less of a problem, and it had 21 more seasons there. This had a reputation for being the roughest Vekoma Flying Dutchman, and it was definitely the coaster you wanted to ride first in the morning, trying to beat the lines as much as possible. As Carowinds got more and more investment, and its attendance rose and became one of Cedar Fair's biggest parks, Nighthawk made less and less sense here. So it was no surprise when the park decided to exit after the 2024 season. Number 6, Green Lantern at Six Flags Great Adventure, operated 27 seasons. Starting off as Chang at Kentucky Kingdom, before Six Flags lost their lease and abandoned it. They packed this up and moved it to Great Adventure, replacing Great American Scream Machine, theming it to the Green Lantern movie coming out the same year in 2011. This is no small stand-up, 154 feet tall, well over 4,000 feet of track, 5 inversions, very intense, but over time it became hated by a lot of people, running very rough and pinballing people's heads around. I can't disagree with this. I had a bad experience the year it shut down, but in general, this is a very solid, intense stand-up coaster, and I think it was in fact overhated. Number 5. Lava Bora at Six Flags Over Texas, operated 41 seasons. Serving 2 seasons at Magic Mountain as Sarajevo bobsled, then taking part in the Six Flags Ride Rotation program, ending up at Over Texas where it would stay for the next 39 years. At first, keeping its icy theme, named Avalanche, then being rethemed to a snake to fit in the Spain section of the park. I always thought this ride was a riot. It doesn't go very fast, but the way the car slides around through that trough, not being attached to it, it felt like one of the most out-of-control rides ever. It seemed like this ride definitely lasted longer than it should have. It was on borrowed time after a while, and it seems like it was removed to make way for the new dive coaster coming in 2026. Number 4. Wild Train at Phantasiana, operated 20 seasons. This little PAX coaster in Austria may look like a family coaster on the surface, only 59 feet tall, less than 1,000 feet of track, not even hitting 30 miles an hour, but those elements are so tight and sharp. Turns out, this thing is an airtime machine, and everyone who got the Austria to ride it seemed to love it. It served 20 years, and it was done. The park wanted to use that land for a brand new Mach Striker coaster, Helios. So, even though we lost what looked like a fun ride, we got something much more modern in its place. Number 3. Giant Inverted Boomerang at Jinjiang Action Park, operated 14 seasons. I mentioned the Deja Vu coasters earlier. Well, here's another one of those models. Giant Inverted Boomerang being named after its model. 177-foot vertical spikes, 62 miles an hour, 6 inversions in total, and as much as we enthusiasts hate boomerangs, we all seem to love these giant ones. This was a newer one, being built in 2011, and it probably would have lasted a long time had Jinjiang Action Park not shut down. This park is being converted to a Harry Potter studio tour set to open in 2027, and it seems like these coasters do not have a future at the park. If this will be moved, that's yet to be seen, but right now it looks like it's done. Number 2. Megaphobia at Oakwood, operated 29 seasons. At the tail end of 2024, we found out the entire Oakwood theme park in Wales was closing for good, ending its 38-year run, the future of all 5 coasters being up in the air. Only one of these coasters is made of wood, and therefore is the most likely not finding a new home. That's the CCI coaster from 1996, Megaphobia. 85 feet tall, 48 miles an hour, almost 3,000 feet of track. It was a full-size CCI Woody, and from my experience, CCI did a great job with most of their projects. If this is indeed done for, that's a sad loss for the coaster world. Number 1. Kingda Ka at Six Flags Great Adventure, operated 20 seasons. We all knew this was coming. The world's tallest and fastest coaster when it opened in 2005, maintaining the height record until its implosion in 2025. Kingda Ka was one of the most extreme coasters ever built. 0 to 128 miles an hour in 3.5 seconds, using hydraulic launch, up and over a 456-foot top hat, spiraling down. It was a short but sweet ride. They need a lot of TLC, and after the Six Flags Cedar Fair merger was complete, Richard Zimmerman and the new management wanted this gone. They had already converted Top Thrill Dragster into Top Thrill 2, so it seemed like they didn't want to put up with another one of these headache-intimate accelerator coasters. It's bad enough to close the world's tallest and second fastest coaster. It's even worse to do it without any warning. One theory is, the park didn't want to announce an official closing date, just in case the ride broke down before that date. They wouldn't be obliged to try and fix it. Enough people got wind of the rumors that turned out to be 100% true, and it was given a nice unofficial send-off from those in the know. Those are the coasters that we lost, or most likely lost. But let's also take a look at a few coasters that seem to be in limbo, and we may get word of their closure at any time. Desperado at Buffalo Bills Resort and Casino. This has been standing idle since 2019, so there was some issue with it even before the COVID pandemic, and that almost killed the entire resort. We have heard positive things since then, but nothing has materialized, and we're still waiting for official word on its fate. TMNT Shuttle Racer at Nickelodeon Universe. The star coaster at the park at American Dream that opened in 2019. This has been sitting there for well over a year now, and I can tell you on opening day, it was rougher than it should have been. Some people say it's because it doesn't have real footers. Those supports are poured into concrete, and that may have caused some structural problems they need to address. It's a great ride, hopefully they can fix it. The Flash Vertical Velocity at Six Flags Discovery Kingdom. This has also been standing there for over a year, its demise being predicted for years now. It's been open so sporadically, but this time it's been down for a long time, and it's unclear if and when it reopens. Timberwolf at Worlds of Fun. It was announced this would not open for the 2025 season, but we didn't get any more details. Perhaps the park knows what's going to happen next. Perhaps they haven't decided yet. Will it get torn down? Will it get RMC'd? Or will it get major gravity group retrack? We'll have to wait and see. 2 of those 3 options means this coaster as we know it is done. Sidewinder at Busch Gardens. We've heard rumors about this park being shut down and possibly moved out of its downtown spot for years now, but the park keeps trucking on, minus Sidewinder. This hasn't operated since 2022, and at this point, it would be a minor miracle if it ever reopened. Cyclone at Lakeside Amusement Park. Staying in Denver, this 85-year-old wooden coaster also hasn't operated since 2022, but this seems to have a better chance of being fixed up and reopened. It's just a bad sign it's been so long. The Dragon at Ocean Park. This scenic park in Hong Kong has an aero looper dating back to 1984, the first ever coaster to have a sidewinder, and it last operated in 2021. Maybe it's already confirmed to be closed, but I haven't seen anything concrete, but it's probably already done. Dragon Mountain at Marineland. One of the weirdest and best aero coasters, Dragon Mountain opened in 1983 and last operated in 2023. Marineland is having financial troubles and didn't open any of their rides in 2024, and don't seem to have plans to reopen them in 2025 either. If this park goes under, that's a wrap on Dragon Mountain. The coasters of Lakemont Park, Skyliner and Leap the Dips. These two classic wind coasters are in the same boat as Dragon Mountain, in a park that is having problems and decided not to operate their rides last year. So all they can hope for is the park that turned their fortune around, with the small possibility they could find a new home if needed. Wood Coaster at Night Valley. This is considered possibly the best GCI coaster ever built, but apparently Night Valley is not in good shape. A lot of its rides are not operating, and Wood Coaster hasn't operated since 2022. This isn't a coaster that can be moved, so its fate is in the hands of Night Valley. The coasters of Mysterious Island in China. This park is still open, but neither of their coasters are running. That includes the last remaining S&S Screaming Squirrel, Man o' War, and Skycar, an Intamin Accelerator. I'm not sure if these coasters are in the same boat, or if they're standing but not operating for different reasons, but it's weird that both their coasters are not operational. All of the Chinese S&S Air Launch coasters. Bullet Coaster at Happy Valley, Extreme Rusher at Happy Valley, OCT Thrust SSC 1000 at Happy Valley, and Shooting Roller Coaster at Sun Tzu Cultural Park. All of them are not operating, and it seems like the accident on Bullet Coaster where the trains collided may have sparked this, so we'll see if they all reopen or they all shut down for good. Vertigo at Zoo Marine. One of the most relocated coasters, this Schwarzkopf goes back to 1979, being here in Italy since 2010, but didn't operate last year, and given its age, who knows if it'll ever reopen. Finally, we have all the steel coasters at Oakwood, 4 of them in total. 3 of them aren't really that important, but they do have a Gerstlauer Eurofighter called Speed No Limits, and I'd be very curious to see where this ends up. It seems like it should be able to find a new home, opening in 2006, closing only as a circumstance of its park closing, so I'm expecting this to move on, but maybe it doesn't, we'll see. Oakwood was just one park that closed down this past year. We also saw Mirabilandia in Brazil close in February. They have a kids coaster and an old Vekoma whirlwind called Super Tornado. We'll see if that gets moved. And Playland Fresno also closed down again after having reopened in 2023. They have a Millennium Suns kids coaster called Dragon Coaster. Not closed yet, but will soon. We have Six Flags America. Most of their 9 coasters will probably end up on next year's list, but some might find a new home. And then we have Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket at Universal Studios Florida. I'd be very surprised if that survives past its stint at Universal, and we already know its expiration date is in September. That's a wrap on this list. Let me know if I forgot anything important, and if you have any other thoughts, sound off in the comments below. Before you go, don't forget to drop a like, and if you're new here and love coasters, please give me a sub. I want to thank my Patreons. If you want bonus access, bonus content, and have your name listed at the end of each video, check my links below and join. Also, check out my second channel, where I post copyright-free off-ride footage. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.